Hey there, beloved Ascension pioneers, and welcome to my video update. And again, the topic will be true love and our inner God-Goddess awakening and how we really flow into divine reunion, as in terms of what really makes somebody shift in our process. Because a lot of times people ask me, you know, is it enough for just one to be awake for the reunion to take place? Or, you know, they're holding in relationships that they're not really available just for them. You know, there's people are staying with other beings who are not available just to them. So today I want to give you this beautiful story that's written in the Book of Love. And it's from Kathleen McGovern. She has 3 books, beautiful books, on mostly on love and the true Christian, what means true primal Christian religion, which was all about love, the love of the beloved, true love, how to walk the way, the path of one, in unity. And I really want to share something with you that's very important and an aspect that a lot of times we forget because we think that we need to be a certain way. We think we need to work on ourselves for a certain someone that we really love or we really feel an affection for in a beautiful soul connection kind of way. But then again, oftentimes it can make us forget that just being ourselves, just being in our true beloved essence is enough to, you know, make somebody feel the same for us, to make the choice to be with us, to be committed to us as well as we're committed to them. And a lot of times I see people who commit themselves to somebody and that other somebody doesn't commit on the same level, which is very important because we wait and you know, you can wait forever and everything takes place now. But the true thing behind this I want to really capture in this video today is the mere essence of yourself, is to forget that you need to do a certain work, that somebody will shift with you because they're your mirror, obviously, and to forget this illusion that just because you're waiting for somebody to blossom in their own way and you feel you've already blossomed to the degree that you're embodying in this time, in this moment right now, and then what you're taking upon yourself is oftentimes the responsibility of someone else, because you can wait forever, you can wait for that commitment, and if it never comes, you know, it's just not meant to happen. But a lot of times we're so fixated on that being with a specific person so that we wait and we think, okay, maybe it's me and I need to do all this inner work so that I can really come together in this union. Remember that when there's true love, the true love in itself, love is pure consciousness. Divine love is a universal truth principle that governs all life in creation. And when you come from true love, the love itself already alchemizes you and another in your union. Because this video deals with unions. Of course, it takes place within yourself first. So today I want to share a story of a princess, Ariadne, and how this was in this example, because it's so important, you know, the example, the teaching behind this. Remember, all these ancient stories, they're metaphors, they're symbolic, they represent something for us that's really important to embrace at this time, because we're becoming these homo perfectus beings that really are embracing and becoming true love. We're walking as divine self-embodied, and this is not a process that, you know, you can say, okay, I'm just going to wait, you know, it's just going to happen. Either it's not a passive process, it takes conscious choice. And remember, if you're choosing to be with somebody or wait for somebody that you say, oh, they're not ready, because I see a lot of people saying, I'm with somebody but they're not ready, and they always ask me when they're going to ever be ready, why are they not ready, is because a part of you is also participating in that choice. Remember, you cannot control how that person is and the choices they're making, or, you know, what they're committing to or not, how they're in alignment with their own integrity or the true nature of spirit. You cannot control them. You know, you cannot fix them on the outside. You cannot wait for them and hope that they change, because you're only responsible for your own choices and your own integrity and your own alignment with spirit self. So when you're waiting for that to happen with another and you're saying they're not ready, it means that also part of you is not ready. And which part of you that, you know, that feeds you with that makes you wait, that you actually think that reunion is not possible, means that there's maybe a part of you or more parts of you that you didn't yet bring into your wholeness, and they're still thinking that something needs to take place outside of you, and your mind tells you that. And yet the wholeness, you know, that initiation that takes place deep in your inner chambers didn't yet unfold. So okay, let me tell you a beautiful story. And the story goes like this. So I won't tell you the whole story because then it could be too long, but I'm going to tell you the basics that are really appropriate as in this archetype that I wish to share in this message. So Princess Ariadne, of course, was very beautiful, and at that time there was this being that they called Minotaur. I'm not sure if I'm saying the name in English right, but let's say that was what it was called. So they locked this, they called it monster, and they locked it underground. So each year they had to sacrifice 7 people from a specific region, and nobody, once they entered the labyrinth, could, you know, again walk out of it alive. So then there was this beautiful prince called, I think it was called Theseus, if I say it in English, and Ariadne fell in love with him, and she actually said, well, you're going to make it alive, because she gave him this thread, and she said, just carry this thread through the labyrinth and you will know how to walk your path back. So this labyrinth in itself was symbolic for love and devotion, you know, how you enter, because the labyrinth represents when you enter source, you go deep into the very core, and you think, oh my gosh, you know, I'm never going to return, and yet there's consciousness that always leads you where you need to be. So she was devoted, she was true. She was true with her support of love, igniting the love flame, the love spark within both, and she encouraged him. So he really returned. He won. He had victory over the Minotaur, and there was this proposal. She thought they're going to escape the city together and be together and join in marriage, and yet he was convinced from the outside forces that he's not the best for her, because at the same time there was also Dionysus, if you know, and he was known as the god of beauty, of hedonism, and all of that. So her father, Ariadne's father, almost like God asked him to promise her to him, because he worshipped her. He really you know, liked her so much, and at the same time she had love for Theseus. And when Theseus was convinced through the outer forces that he's not the best for her, because she could be with this godly being, that she could have everything, and with this joining together she could also be immortal, he fell for it. So he fell for those external things, you know, which I always associate with us falling for the ego mind traps to tell us, look, it's not possible, or it's not happening on the outside, or it's not meant to happen, or I'm not good enough, and all of these things, these illusions, these veils of illusions. So he really bowed down to that, and he escaped the city on his own. And she actually was sad, but what happened was Dionysus was there, and he still worshipped her. He still was totally madly in love with her, and she didn't want it, of course, because for her he was too much, you know, hedonistic and too much into sensual pleasures and all that is carnal, and so she didn't figure him as her best choice. But what happened was that this beautiful alchemy took place, because her mere goddess essence, and I talk about the awakened goddess, this means a woman who is in her raw goddess power, who's truly loving, compassionate, open, and that love was enough to transform him. So what happened is he totally changed, he transformed, and when she saw this, she also opened her heart to him. And so they did join in a sacred marriage, and they were unified. And Theseus at the same time, he was sad over the process, but he did build certain monuments and labyrinths to kind of like bring this memory and to honor Ariadne and what she was actually representing. And this story was told also in the Book of Love, because it's a deep appreciation that when a man and a woman enter a sacred union, they both need to walk through that labyrinth. You know, even if it's just one seemingly going through it, she also had a thread that connected them together. So there's this love in itself is your guiding force, is what holds you together. And the second archetypal message here is that your mere presence, your awakened goddess feminine, the womb that holds the space, and this doesn't matter whether you're a man and a woman. It's about the symbolism here. So this is not just about the female populace here I'm talking about, but it's when you have that nature within you awaken, that's all, and it's enough. And when there's somebody who can be open and receptive to that degree of that openness and that aware feminine, divine feminine presence, that womb, that love, the nourishing love, the mere goddess force, the force of true love, will change it. It will alchemize you. And if that's someone who you in your reality, you experience it, your desire, you say that person is my desire and this is who I want to be with, and yet they're not committed, and yet you haven't seen them really changing. They're not changing for you. Remember, that's not control. They're changing with you, because love always alchemizes us more and more. We're always going to change because we're becoming true embodiment of that love that is true, and it's in integrity and it's in devotion. And I witnessed a lot of people talking to me and beautiful, either male or females, they're experiencing a certain attachment with beings who are never truly reciprocal to them at the same matter. So it's almost like when we are this way, we can't see, something might be there for us perfectly, but we won't see it because we're so fixated on that. And that fixated filtering will kind of prevent us from being in true full awareness, which in that awareness, our soul already brings us what we need. And, you know, everything is fed to us that we need in that moment. That is what is meant with divine timing, through divine grace. And when things come to us through grace, they really are truthful, they're purposeful, they're cherishing us, they're honoring us. It's not like somebody will run away. And I also want to say this because a lot of people read these things about twin flames and twin souls or whatever online, and they start believing that it's difficult, that there's such thing as a runner syndrome. And I talked about this a lot of times before, and because they really believe it such a way, they will have this in their awakened state, and this is what they're going to be attracting from that time on. So what you really perceive as your reality is what's going to take place within you. And then of course this perception gives you validation, and you say, wow, it really is that way. And then everything serves your ego. Your ego always needs validation, and it's like, okay, you know, that's what it is. And then there's beautiful signs you see all around you, and you know, your ego also wants signs. You know, your true soul just gives you guidance, and that guidance is neutral, and it always comes through love. But you know, ego needs that sort of confirmation. Your soul does not need, it just is, and you feel it through love. It's things that you feel, that are your visions, that really keep you focused on what you desire. And a lot of times there's things that are distracting you from that focus. So really be observing where something's coming from, whether truly propelled through love, and whether when you're choosing what you're choosing, you know, what belief within you is kind of correspondent with that choice. Because, you know, there's a lot of beings who are alone because they choose to be alone, because they rather be alone and wait and really hold a space for that sacred someone that really reflects them on all levels, than to just be in partnership that's not even partnership. That's never really reciprocal on the same matter. And, you know, we all deserve to be in that. When two beings, they not just meet, but they reunite, in terms of they will be sharing that space of sacred honoring, of devotion, and kind of like stepping on this path that will be vulnerable, but they need to walk into the labyrinth both together. Because, you know, through true love, they're going to be experiencing source through their joint union. And that's never going to be possible with somebody who's not even willing to really go in the labyrinth with you with both 2 feet and with arms and legs and their whole body, their whole being. Somebody who, you know, I say this for females, that we know it's going to be our divine complement or counterpart when we will be willing to give our sword of truth to them. And this is what I had in dreams a while ago. It means that it's that someone that we are willing to bow down to, and, you know, release that part of our divine masculine that we still feel it's playing a bit of control in our lives. And we say, I'm ready, and I'm ready to dance with you, that you take the role of the masculine physically, although we're both masculine and feminine in divine sense, as an essence, and you dance this dance together, and goes vice versa for the male part. So it's really a requirement on our path. And, you know, whenever you're just serving your ego, you're serving these beliefs, and it's not everything that you read online is true. That's why your heart is the only way, it's your only guide. And these stories really, they really kind of bring us that upliftment, that honoring of the sacred true love that can do anything and can move mountains. It creates miracles. And a lot of times, you know, because we haven't yet experienced in the physical yet, we have this perspective of, oh, it's not possible. How is it even going to happen? How can I be loved that way? Well, of course, love yourself that way first. That means don't compromise, you know, don't be holding a space for somebody that's not even holding it for you in the same level. And especially when there's games involved, and cheating, and being married. Because even if you meet somebody who's already married, and if you're the one who's their awakener, who they will bow down for, you know, it's they will know it, and they'll make the changes. There will be no excuses, there will be no games or anything like that, because the love itself is enough. So you really don't need that part of you. You can dissolve it, you can let it go, you can forgive it, you can just, whatever it is you have your own ritual with, but you can bring it, of course, into awareness, into high understanding that just your pure presence is enough, is a gift. So an awakened woman is a gift to a man, and an awakened man is a gift to a woman. And together we really are merging and joining in these beautiful sacred partnerships when we really hold on to that truth, not to those beliefs, because we no longer need them. So I hope this inspired you in some way, you know, wherever you are in your own inner reunion, that's where you need to be at this time. But don't be afraid to go even deeper, to take more risks, to really take the leap jump into the unknown, because that's what this is. As always, so much love, wisdom, and power, and I'll talk to you next time in my next update, and so much love. Bye-bye.